There is a lot of noise on the internet today about photography. Whether you're on threads, whether you're on YouTube comments, whether it's people's Instagram stories or what they're posting on there, it's just everywhere. There are people gatekeeping what is a worthy photo to take. There are people that are telling you what is the right way and the wrong way to make a photo. And of course, there is just tons and tons of arguments about gear everywhere. For me, usually I stay in my lane, especially on this YouTube channel. But today I decided that this video is going to be a little bit spicier than usual. But before we get into it, I did want to thank today's video sponsor, Squarespace. I've actually been using Squarespace for over 10 years now. Their templates and easy to use interface make it incredibly simple to create and maintain a professional looking website without any coding experience necessary. My Squarespace website was an essential part of how I built my photography business. It allowed me to showcase my portfolio, share recent work on my blog, and also receive inquiries from potential clients through my contact form. If you're one of those photographers relying on your Instagram profile as the sole place for you to share your work and build your photography business, I would really consider making a website on Squarespace. You can visit squarespace.com/ReggieBallesteros to start a free trial and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is this idea that certain photos are worth taking. Certain photos are, authentic to take, and then other ones are just, no longer okay to do. I'm talking about cliche photos. People who say these photos are overdone, that people need to stop doing these, that they're not creative. I'm talking about car corners, flowers, gas stations, basketball hoops, even architecture for that matter. People like to say that these are cliche, that they're overdone, that everyone on Instagram posts about them, that it's not unique. And my thing is, I think there's just enough room for everyone. Everyone can take these photos. Everyone can take the photos that they want to share. Even if a photo looks similar, there's going to be something unique about them. There's no way that the same composition, that the same place, that the same lighting, that the same person, that the same camera is going to take the same exact photo. It's just not possible. I think it's okay for people to take whatever photo they want. If they're inspired to take it, just take it. If they want to share it, then go share it. I'm not going to guarantee everyone's going to like your photo, but I don't think you should be telling people what they should take and what they shouldn't take. There's enough room on the internet for everyone. And if you got to get on your high horse and tell people that certain photos are not worthy, that tells me more about you than it does about the people that you're judging. The next one is a little bit reaching. One time I was scrolling on threads and I saw somebody who said having a pre-composed composition, a pre-composed exposure, and waiting for a subject to walk through the frame is cheating. So you're telling me that being able to have an eye to pre-visualize some type of composition and to know that maybe you need a specific element that you're willing to be patient for is cheating? I feel like that's kind of reaching. And I think it comes from a space where some people have a specific approach to being creative, to making their photos. There are people out there that like to hunt for their photos. So they walk around always in motion, waiting for things to spontaneously come up and then they can catch it. And that split second is what allows them to kind of like flex their creative muscles, their creative prowess. Whereas someone like me walks around a little bit and waits in an area. When I see something that I think could be a photo, I spend some time. I compose it a little bit. And if I think there's something missing, I wait. I wait until someone comes through. Maybe I'm just trying to have a silhouetted person in there. I wait till they're in the right spot. How is that cheating? Right? I don't think there's any way for anyone to know if it was you're waiting for it. If you ask somebody to go through the frame or if you just spontaneously came up with this moment, all of them are worthy and we all have different ways of approaching creativity. And I think ultimately there is no right or wrong way. There was just your way. And if somebody feels a little bit less than because someone is finding success in a way that isn't theirs, that just means you got like some zero-sum mentality. You think that because somebody can find success doing something that you're not comfortable with means that you're somehow going to get less success when you have a completely different way. And that is not true. There is enough room for everyone to be at the table if you're able to just frankly not be an and to embrace different creative approaches. And if we can just know that someone else maybe have a completely different approach, it doesn't take away from our approach or the validity of our approach. It doesn't take away from the fact that our approach is right for us and maybe not right for them. And I couldn't end this video without some type of gear take, right? Some type of photography gear weird opinion. There's a lot of stuff about sensor size. I'm not going to get into that stuff about resolution. I'm not going to get into that about professionals use this and hobbyists use this, or film versus film simulations. I'm not going to talk about those. The one that has been bugging me lately has been, if a camera doesn't have a viewfinder, it's just a toy. It's not a real camera. And I think that is complete BS. It's like the only definition for me of a camera is a device that you use to take an image and save it. That's it. Like, you point it at something and you save an image. You're not using like generative AI to like create the image. You're not drawing it. You're just pointing at it at, with some light and lines and subject matter and texture in that frame. You're taking the photo, and that's a photo. That is what a camera is to me. I don't care if it has a physical shutter. I don't care if it is a phone that uses a little bit of computational photography algorithm. Like, that still counts to me because we're still walking up to the frame, visualizing something and taking it. But to say that someone needs to compose using like a viewfinder is like, I don't understand that logic, because some of these people are saying that an X-T5 is more real of a camera than a Ricoh GR3. You do realize that those little EVFs are just tiny LCDs put in a hole. So if you think using a little tiny hole to frame up something versus like holding the camera out is somehow not a real camera anymore, even though the photos can come out exactly the same, a lot of people think that using an LCD is cheating. It's not a real way to compose. And my thing is, like, perhaps it's more difficult for you to visualize something. You get distracted by everything. But using an LCD or not using a viewfinder does have its merits to be able to connect with a subject, to be able to get low or high. And even if there wasn't any merit, like, so be it. If people are happy with the photo that they get, like, why does it matter how they actually took it? Are you going to go tell them they didn't take a real photo because you didn't see them put their camera to their eye? Like, that's reaching. At the end of the day, there is room for everyone's photos. There is room for everyone to have success. There's room for everyone to have their spotlight if we all have a positive community. But if you keep trying to think, going on threads, going on YouTube and telling people that they're doing it wrong, that their photos are not worth it, that their gear isn't a real camera, I promise you, that is probably going to close off more opportunities than if you were just staying quiet, spreading good vibes in the community, and just sharing your work. That's all I got to say today.